for the burglaries and stuff, if he go down for the burglaries, that's kind of something that like it don't hold that much time. But y'all gotta really look at it. He facing a lot of charges, but as he go to trial, if one person say he's not guilty, he beats the whole case. So a lot of people sitting back looking like, why YFN Lucci Shooter even comment and react to the fact that Young Thug, like all his homies switched on him. He reacted because he was basically making an example for the simple fact that so many people talk about this, slime that, when in all actual reality, yo, the same way you saying that, your homies who you rolling with is the main ones that's telling on you. So a lot of people look at it like, okay, YFN Lucci, he kind of like put himself out there as if he was involved in it. But this goes to show like a lot of people really don't want like a lot of people don't want him to go down for it.
Counsel hired by you or is a court-appointed counsel if you cannot afford an attorney at the trial of your case.
Yes, ma'am.
The right to the presumption of innocence.
Yes, ma'am.
The right to testify on your own behalf and to present other evidence.
Yes, ma'am.
It is your decision to waive these rights and enter a guilty plea because you're in fact guilty.
Yes, ma'am.
With respect to indictment 22 FC 183572, where you're charged with count 1, conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, count 47, conspiracy to commit a crime, count 48, participation in criminal street gang activity, and count 55, conspiracy to commit a crime. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with a full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have only a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have 4 years from today's date for the felony charges to file a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this guilty plea?
Yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor, if this case were to go to trial, the state would expect to show and prove that between January 24th of 2013 and May 8th of 2022, that the enterprise known did unlawfully conspire to acquire and maintain and control of the United States currency and other personal property through a pattern of racketeering activity, and also, while members were associated with that enterprise, did unlawfully conspire to conduct and participate in directly in racketeering activity as described in our indictment, Your Honor. Associates of the enterprise, YSL or Young Slime Life, they did conspire to associate together with others for the common purposes of illegally obtaining money and property through a pattern of racketeering activity and conducting and participating in the enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. And in furtherance of that conspiracy, the defendants engaged in the activities enumerated within our indictment. Some of the objectives, Your Honor, include but not limited to preserving, protecting, and enhancing the reputation, power, and territory of the enterprise through acts of racketeering activity, including murder, assault, and threats of violence. Also preserving, protecting, and enhancing the reputation, power, and territory of the enterprise by the posting of messages, images, videos, and songs demonstrating an allegiance to the enterprise and a willingness to engage in violence on its behalf. And those are just some of the ways in which they try to further the enterprise. Your Honor, the state would expect to show that this YSL started in the late 2012 in the Cleveland Avenue area of Atlanta, Georgia, and that some of the founders of this enterprise was Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug, also known as Slime, Walter Murphy, also known as DK, and Trotavia Stevens, also known as Tick, and also known as Slug. That this group uses a variety of identifiers, including colors, clothing, tattoos, and hand signs, as well as verbal and written identifiers. And Your Honor, specifically, how Mr. Sumlin will contribute to this enterprise is that we have a number of Instagram postings of Mr. Sumlin. The first being, Your Honor, Mr. Sumlin was incarcerated, I believe, between 2014 and 2017. Upon his coming home from prison, we have a picture of him in that video. Excuse me, it was a video. In that video is one of the co-defendants, Jeffrey Williams, and they posted this on social media, and the tag of that was original slime shit, and that was posted and tagged by this defendant, who's also known as Obama. We also have some imagery, Your Honor, also posted on social media with this defendant wearing red clothing with, on that clothing, it has MASA, which is a play on MAGA, which is Make America Slime Again. And then he also has several tattoos identifying YSL on his body, Your Honor. We also have a couple other postings of this defendant with other members of YSL posted on the internet. Specifically, two of the crimes that he is charged with, Your Honor, in this indictment are actually two telephone calls of individuals who were both housed at the Fulton County Jail. The first phone call was on February 22nd, 2022, Your Honor. And this is a phone call by one of the co-defendants, Christian Effinger. That individual called this defendant asking permission from a person known as Slime, whether or not he would have permission to harm YFN Lucci, also known as Rashard Bennett. Your Honor, that phone call came after Mr. Bennett had already been attacked by other members of the YSL gang in the jail. Your Honor, although Mr. Sumlin did take the phone call and agreed on the phone and Slime, it does not appear that that ever took place. Nothing happened to Mr. Bennett subsequent to that phone call. Second, Your Honor, we have a phone call on April 7, 2022, where another co-defendant by the name of Cordarius Dorsey also called Mr. Sumlin on a jail call and asked Mr. Sumlin to either rob or kill an individual known as Head. Mr. Dorsey provided Mr. Sumlin with the phone number to kind of set up an armed robbery and whatever would happen after that armed robbery. We later found through investigation that Head was an individual by the name of Harold Bennett. What we learned is there was nothing that happened to Mr. Bennett afterwards. So there was this agreement on the telephone. However, it does not appear that anything happened subsequent to those two telephone calls. Your Honor, those things, the social media posts, in addition to the those two phone calls, is how Mr. Sumlin has furthered the enterprise in this case, and that's what the state would have expected to prove in this case within the trial.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hilton. Mr. Hoover, anything on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor, we just...
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, before signing this indictment, did you have the opportunity to fully discuss all of the facts and circumstances therein with your attorney, Mr. Hoover, to your satisfaction?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything about the indictment you wish to ask me or ask any questions about?
No, sir.
All right. I'll note the indictment's been signed and the plea has been entered. Mr. Sumlin, based upon the responses that you've given during the court's inquiry, I find that your guilty plea is freely and voluntarily entered. I find a factual basis for your plea. I'm going to accept your plea as tendered and as negotiated. As it pertains to you in count one, that's conspiracy to violate the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. This court will sentence you to 15 years to serve on probation subject to the special conditions that have been set forth on the record already in terms of your plea, and I'll go over some of those with you in just a minute. As it pertains to count 47, conspiracy to commit a crime, murder, this court will sentence you to 15 years to serve on probation subject to the special conditions. Count 48 is participation in criminal street gang activity.
But it's evidence and it's phone calls and it's like they have so many computers with all the stuff that they've been basically putting out there. It goes to show like how this gonna end up. So y'all gotta really look at this, man, because you gotta still get a man some time because he ain't even went to trial yet. When you go to trial, that's when they really determine if you gonna get booked or not. Young Thug ain't even coerced them to do nothing. Like, you gotta understand, they baby mama convinced them to real life go out there and get that money. Young Thug couldn't make them boys do nothing they ain't want to do already. At the end of the day, we know for a fact it's free thugger thugger or nothing. Like at the end of the day, we know for a fact that YFN Lucci only mad because they ran up on him while he was in the bullpen. Like y'all gotta really look at that. YFN Lucci been booked. Half of them was drunk and half of them was off lean when they went out there and did that tonight. Like y'all gotta really look at that because they sitting there looking like they was just sober when all this just happened. No, from what the reports are saying, the footage that was leaked, it showed everything happened at the bowling alley, and it showed everything that happened with YFN Nut, and when they pulled up on Buddy, and basically they tossed him. You feel me? They tossed him. YFN Lucci tossed his own homie. When them judges and prosecutors write them statements out and they real live collect all the affidavits that they can really obtain, you can't put in no more motions. It's over with. Like, y'all gotta understand, it ain't just one person fighting this case. YFN Lucci is the main one. He was in there before Young Thug, so therefore, he's the one that gave the tip on Young Thug. As soon as them indictments roll out, they gonna do it. The same thing Jay Prince Jr. and Finesse 2-Time them did right after the Young Dolph situation happened, and then Takeoff got sent up. They gonna instantly scatter like roaches. They gonna get right up out of there. Half of them was off that Casamigos, man.
Better ensure that you'll complete your probation without a hitch. It is empirically established that a lot of crime occurs between about 11 and 4 in the morning. So if you're at home, you got family, you got other things that you are responsible for, it's less likely that something may happen. I mean, I'm not saying that there's no guarantee somebody won't come to your house and knock on your door and try and offer you harm, but it's less likely that that will happen because you won't be in the street. Now, the other thing is, if you work the second shift, third shift, or say, for example, you got a small child, or your parents or your mother gets sick, you can certainly go and see about them. You can certainly take your child to urgent care or whatever. You can certainly pick up somebody from the airport if that becomes necessary. But you can't be at some other place if probation kind of finds you at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're at a strip club, you're gonna have some problems. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
All right, see the difference between the two?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, just wanna make sure you understand that. Things that make common sense won't violate your terms of your probation. And Ms. Purdy, my probation officer, will, and whoever it is that's assigned as your probation officer, as long as you let them know you're working or whatever else, that, like I said, you get a job second or third shift, they'll just need to know that so that if they're trying to check up on you, that you'll be good, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then also for the pendency of this case, you can't have any contact with anybody else in this indictment, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. That would also go along with, as Ms. Purdy's going to tell you, you can't be associated with anybody else with a felony record. So that's why you couldn't necessarily have any contact with anybody. There's probably a few people on this who have had some prior contact with the law in terms of felony convictions, okay? So don't have anything to do with anybody in this particular indictment, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. The terms of your probation may be suspended after 5 years, provided you don't violate the terms of the agreement and you violate no laws. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your probation may terminate after so that's suspended, the first part. Your probation may terminate after 10 years, provided you don't violate any terms and conditions of this agreement and violate any laws. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sir, do you have any questions about your sentence?
No, sir.
Counsels, that is Mr. Hoover or Ms. Hilton, any clarifications on the court's entry of sentence or defendant's entry of plea?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing on behalf of Mr. Sumlin, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Chamberlain, anything, sir? Okay, all right. Ms. Purdy, anything, ma'am? Anything from probation's perspective? You're going to give them reporting instructions?
Yes, I will go back there and.
Okay, all right. So, sir, once you're taking it back, Ms. Purdy, my probation.
It's the person who basically was blindfoldedly blowing into the crowd, but he only hit Takeoff. But he is one of the Migos, supposedly. I never heard of him until this incident. So I want to let you know one thing. Lil Cam ran in the bowling alley. Next thing you know, Migo Bands ain't chased behind him. Migo Bands started running backwards while he was
being fired, man.
Yeah, it was more than one because ain't nobody just finna be. If Lil Cam already ran off, why would anybody still be blowing if it wasn't more shooters?
Because, all right, now, I'm thinking this right here now. Now, let's say that when Takeoff started walking forward and that little twist and everything happened. And what if there was a time when Lil Cam and Migo Bands really just started drawing on each other, man?
Right in the mix.
Pop went off. Right, the pop went off, you know, like that little first pop, I think, like I said, it was a mug pop where he had hit Takeoff, man. The first shot. And, yeah. And then, that's when all the other shots started going off. But, I mean, it was more than just Lil Cam and your boy shooting.
Yeah, it had to been more because
there was somebody else popping off too, man.
Yeah, because they said Takeoff got hit 9 times. And it's crazy because they only reported a couple.
Right. I didn't know he got hit 9 times.
Yeah, man. They said close to 7 to 9, man. That's the news that they brought out today, man. What's that dude? It's called The Real Question Everything. You feel me? His name.
The Real Question Everything.
Yeah, it's a channel.
Damn. And I'm gonna have to check him out. Do we got the YouTube channel?
That's the channel that I be looking at too.
Oh, okay. Cause I be checking out your content. I ain't never seen him, man.
Yeah, I'm putting you up on another YouTuber. He be exposing a lot of shit.
Damn, what's his name again?
It's called The Real Question Everything.
The Real Question Everything.
Yep. You can still check me out too.
Oh yeah, man, I see it. Yeah.
I ain't no hater.
Okay, all right.
I ain't no hater. He live right now.
Okay. No, I mean, hell, I can still check both of y'all out, man. I mean, hell, I like your content too, man. But I was just wondering, man, where this Migo Bands, man, stepped in at, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
he's somebody who they paid to come there with him, and he wasn't no good security.
yeah, because I thought I seen him in another picture. I think you posted it. It could have been you.
Yeah.
But he was sitting down. It looked like could have been outside of Quavo's crib. He was sitting in the chair, and Quavo was standing up behind him.
Yeah.
You seen that picture?
Yeah, I think I see that picture with. I think that's Migo Bands behind Quavo. If I'm not mistaken.
Quavo was the one. I mean, no, right. But the picture that I'm talking about, Bands was sitting down in a chair, and Quavo was standing up, posing behind him, kind of like.
Oh. No, I ain't seen that one.
And the cars was behind him, man. It looked like it could have been a Bentley or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know they realize it's like a lot of people sat back and said that they set that man up on Halloween and they knew that Takeoff was the leader of the group. They said that they took him out of his position, man. And that's sad because that's his own family, man.
I don't know. I still can't buy that, man.
Yeah, that's what I said. And I'm looking like, why would they unblock him?
Why would they do that, man?
Man, I don't know. And it's crazy because they said that it's too many people who played a role in this and only a few people been questioned and released. Hey, I just want to let y'all know one thing, man. If y'all out there, man, y'all got to be safe. Y'all real life got to pay attention to your surroundings and who you keep in your circle, because if you had a wrong person in your car, The same thing what just happened to Lil Kim cousin girlfriend. Hey, y'all gotta understand, man. They played a big part in everything that went on because they said Lil Kim girlfriend was on the radar. She was a target anyway because she was the one that recorded the video. Hey, I want y'all to really pay attention to what's going on, man. Listen to what his uncle said, man. That's sad.
I
Anything,
think that probably got something to do. I think they got something to do with the daddy, man. That power guy down there, man.
yeah, it got to, man, because why his sons ain't being booked and it was their private party.
Right. I mean, it ain't been no focus on them at all, and it wasn't no focus on them, man, in the Duke the Jeweler thing either, man.
No. That Takeoff. He thought that Migo Bands thought that Lil Cam was still trying to take the chain.
Yeah, man, because, man, I'm wondering, man, how did he become a bodyguard for this man? What did he fit in the Texas, man? He's somebody that they picked up in Texas.
Right. He had to pick him up somewhere else because and they never said he got on the plane with them. They never said that he got off the tour bus when they was going to the plane. They never said none of that. So this seemed like he kind of like he's somebody who they hired.
Oh.
So this something.
And the name is just coincidental. The name is just coincidental, man.
Yeah, it ain't no coincidence, man. Like real.
You know, for this guy to have a name, man, Migo Bands, you know what I'm saying? Migo, you get what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, see? And I never heard them. They kept saying that's Quavo brother. What I never Young Thug, he real live. He played a role in everything that went on with YFN Nut, but you can't place a finger on it because at the end of the day, it's hearsay. And from what the prosecutors are saying, they basically saying that them other people just told, like, it really affected them, not Young Thug, because at the end of the day, Young Thug still has to go to a jury trial. So you got to understand, he got to be judged by 12 instead of carried by 6. I want y'all to really look at that, man, because people sit back and they look at it. They be like, Gunna is the reason why Young Thug finna get 20 to life. Young Thug ain't gonna get 20 to life for one reason, because he didn't conspire this stuff to happen. He basically told them, if y'all gotta take care of that, take care of that. You feel me?
Mr. Williams, a very fine attorney, has been appointed to represent you. Okay, she has been through 3 years of law school, passed the competitive bar examination here in Georgia, and has been admitted as a member of the bar. So, not to say you're not a smart fella, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some questions with you to determine whether or not you can represent yourself. But I'm not inclined to switch route just because you don't necessarily want her. She's told me there's a difference in legal strategy. So lawyers control legal strategy with any type of representation. There are certain things that you, of course, as a criminal accused, get an opportunity to call a ball on, like whether you want to testify or not. But that's not one of those things. So she's telling me, without violating any of your attorney-client privileges, she's telling me that it's based on legal strategy. So that wouldn't be a way I'd swap out her as
just a lot of misunderstanding and miscellaneous altercations, just as wise as like family, loved ones. Like, I just don't feel comfortable with like how my situation is going right now. Like, I just don't see fit of like.
If you could take I can't really hear you, sir.
I said there's a lot of misunderstandings and miscellaneous altercations that I just don't feel comfortable with, even with like loved ones, and like I want my loved ones to be able to be like informed of what's going on like within my counsel. So like,
okay, let's stop right there for just a second. There's a reason that Mr. Williams can't talk to your loved ones about what's going on with you, and I can tell you that just being a lawyer